Hi guys, and welcome to another review for TWSs. This time I bring you two models from EPZ, their entry-level model, which is the E200, and their top-of-the-line model, which is the 350T. As for the E200, just a quick run through what it is about. It's a TWS which costs around $32, give or take, at their AliExpress store. It sports Bluetooth 5.2 in terms of its connectivity, and has an 8mm driver made up of a composite diaphragm of three materials, PU, PEK, and titanium. As for the 350T, it's they're top of the line, roughly $90, and this sports a coaxial driver setup. I'm not sure really what are the materials being used, but it's a coaxial driver setup. And yeah, that's basically it. In terms of the accessories package, they bring the usual accessories package that we expect. So they've got a few tips, which I'm using the stock tips in the case of the E200. In the case of the EPZ, the 350T, I'm using actually some KB-07 tips. It brings a charging cable, and that's it. So there's not, there isn't really that much in terms of what accessories it brings. In terms of their overall build quality, starting here with the E200, it's a nice IEM, or TWS actually to be correct, and it sports the shape of like an IEM, as you can see, which is quite nice. I personally like it when there's beauty to be had in the unusual shape that you find the TWS is in, but I find it also quite interesting and quite gratifying when they actually just use. This thing doesn't want to, there we go, when they just use a traditional style of shape, let's put it that way. And the shape they've used here on the E200 is a normal IEM shape. Nice shape, nice size. It fits beautifully. It's got kind of like a rubberized finish, which helps with the fixation, and then the faceplate is where the touch controls are located. It looks really nice. I mean, I have to say that compared to some other units that usually are available at any price point, but at this price point of $30, it really does look the business. It does look the part. Okay, the case is also kind of finished in the same style of material. All right. The only thing that makes the case look a little bit on the cheaper side is the color, the red color that they used internally. It just looks very, if they're given the outside a nice texture, nice feel to the hand, the IEM's the same thing. This red color here, they could have done something else a little bit more convincing with it. Let's put it that way. But anyway, that's it. As for the 350T Pro, well, that's a different story altogether. This is metal, okay? Metal case. It's got a nice feel in the terms of the opening and closing. Once again, they've adopted this IEM style of shape, and it's very, very premium. I mean, it really looks the part. It really, truly does look the part. Fit is, again, flawless. It's a slightly bigger unit than the E200, as you can see. Okay, but the fit is absolutely flawless. There's nothing to be said with regards to the fit. I'm using these KB-07 tips because they just worked much better than the stock ones that the 350T Turbo Pro brought. And that's it. The finish on the inside of the case, everything looks just very very nicely finished, very premium. Okay, very nice. Honestly, very nice. How then does it position, or do these two position themselves with regards to some of the stuff that I have here? Well, straight away there's one thing which for me, even before I reviewed it, was a little bit of a disappointment, which is the fact there is no app associated with these TWSs. And not having any app means that you are basically stuck with whatever it brings in terms of sound. You can't really adjust it unless you use a third-party application. You can't really control the touches, how you want the touches to be set up in terms of the controls. There's no added features in terms of ANC and transparency mode and all that stuff. So this is as raw as it can possibly get. on the side of the calls and taking calls and receiving calls, I also have to say that it wasn't bad, but at either price point, I have seen better units. Okay, so in terms of the call quality, again, it was just bearable. Let's put it that way. Okay. What is the saving grace of either one of them? Then is that it's actually the sound quality. And with regards to the sound quality, I have to really take my hats off to EPZ, because they've really come through. I'm positive that there must be some sort of a DSP implementation here as well somehow. But the way they've tuned either one of these TWSs is very. I'm not going to say it's audiophile, but when you listen to some of the TWSs, especially stuff like from Soundbeats, be it the Engine 4 or the Opera series, or any one of the series that they have, you always notice that there's a very strong emphasis on the sound being equalized. The sound is colored, okay, and if there's one thing that straight away really impressed me when I heard either one of them, okay, be it the 350T Pro or the E200, was how that sensation of equalization, or that sensation that there's digital sound processing going on here, has been done to a minimum. At least that's how I perceive it to my ears. Okay, there's no overemphasis or anything, so you are hearing what the drivers basically are capable of doing, with a slight tuning adjusted to them physically. And again, as I said in the beginning when I started talking about it, I am sure that there will be some sort of DSP processing, but what has been done has been very, very minor as compared to some other stuff. Okay, so all of this talk to say what? If I take the 350T Pro first, and I compare it to other TWSs at its price point, namely, let's say, like for example, the Echo from Dance Gym, or even the Lipotech TV, which you can sometimes get at around the same thing of $90, or the Phil T2 Pro, or even the Earphone, the Ear Pro 3. If I use these that I've mentioned, okay, in their stock settings, in their base settings, and compare that to what I have here, which is just a base setting. It's not a setting which I can run away from it. It's what it is here. It's actually quite impressive how well the 350T does. Yes, I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to say that there aren't units here that in stock format perhaps don't sound more satisfying or more complete or more versatile in certain music genres. And to that extent, I'm talking, for example, about the case of the Phil T2 Pro. The Phil T2 Pro and the Earphone 3 Pro 2 have been my favorites for, and the T1 Pro as well already was the case. Phil products, they just sound very good. I mean, they use a 6mm driver, which is nothing special, dynamic driver, but the sound that they are actually able to extract out of those drivers, be it through the usage of the DSP that they're using, or it's just really, really impressive. If you've never had the opportunity to listen to a Phil T2 Pro, I think you should, because you will be impressed. And especially in the case of the Earphone version, where you then have access to that app which allows you to actually go inside of the unit and adjust parametrically the profile, the sound profile. It is a serious piece of kit capable of playing really, really well. So, as I was saying, if I compare it in that way, it holds its own. Obviously, then the fact that these units then allow for EQing and further adjusting the sound then just takes them to another level, okay? And that's where then the EPZ kind of falls behind. I really like the 350T Pro for its no nonsense, no frills approach to sound. It's like, you could say it's probably the closest that you will get to an audiophile kind of sound coming from a TWS without too much DSP processing. Okay, and by audiophile, what I'm trying to say is this is this is the void of you listen to it, and I know I'm sounding like I'm repeating myself, but I'm trying to really convey that you listen to many of these other units here, and you straight away know that you are listening to a sound which has been processed, and the EPZ 350T, they've done work in terms of wanting to tune it to sound good for itself, and it's quite noticeable. At least like I said before, I notice it, and I give it credit for that. Now, for this to become competitive and for this to have a chance to compete against the hundreds, because it's basically hundreds of other units which are available at the same price and even cheaper, and be truly a player, it has to have some serious improvements done to it. And the biggest improvement I think that should be done straight away is a properly designed app. I don't want to sound that I'm not appreciating what EPZ did by sending me these units for me to review them. Obviously I do appreciate it, but they need to do that if they want to take this TWS market seriously, and they want to be competitive and not just be a brand which falls in the forget category, or in the just put them in the drawer and forget about them. Then an app is a must, and it must be an app that is properly designed, and they just have to look at some of the apps available. I mean, the app for the Nothing Ear 2 is phenomenal, especially with the latest update where you have that parametric equalizing capability. Absolutely phenomenal. Really seriously good. Even the app for the sound peats as well is fantastic. So it's not like they don't have the ability to go and fetch ideas from the market. They do. Okay, so that must be done. And with that, obviously, needless to say, improve the basic idea of a TWS, which is, if you want to make a call and receive a call, also works better, because as it is now, it is it's okay. It's okay. The biggest complaint I got from people listening to me was that the voice sounded like it was at the end of the funnel. It's very easy to pick up on noises. Very, very easy. It will pick up every single noise. Okay, testament to I guess, a good quality mics, but there should be some sort of ability to process all of that, to clean up the sound that you are listening, the voices and so on. So there you have it, the 350T Pro, really nice sounding TWS, loads of potential. I mean, build quality is flawless, but it needs that touch up to be done. As for the the E200, a lot of what I just said about the 350 also applies, because I mean, this is the reality. The Engine 4 is around $40, but you have other models which they have which are cheaper. It's actually $45, but you have other models which are cheaper. You even have Phil's own T1 Lite. I mean, that's you can sometimes get it for $35. And when you consider that it has the app capability, it sounds phenomenal. And you still have a good set of features in terms of its calling capability, cleanliness, and so on and so forth. Then this starts having its work cut out. In terms of its sound, absolutely fantastic. Once again, very much a audiophile kind of sound, in the sense that you don't feel that there's a lot of digital sound processing going on in here. Much like the 350T Pro, bass is fine. It's got nice amount of weight. Perhaps it's got a little even more bass than the 350T, to be honest. But bass, it's very good on either one of them. It's not overemphasized. It's not been given that extra unnecessary weight, let's put it that way. In terms of its mids, once again, very, very good on either case. I find the mids here and the highs slightly more natural. Over here, they sound a little bit more pushed, a little bit more colored. And also, when you really push it, or if the song has got a little bit more dynamic range, this here can get on the border of being a little bit, I wouldn't say shouty, but a little bit hard, almost aggressive, okay? But overall, I mean, considering it's $30 give or take, it sounds very good. It sounds really, really good. It's not got that one note bloated bass, none of it. Now, the fact that it hasn't got the app, that's a point against it, and it's a pity because, once again, the hardware is good. It just needs to be complemented with good software, and excuse me. And again, for it to be competitive and be able to go up against what is available in the market and not be just one more brand, they have to work on those details. They have to definitely work on the aspect of making sure that issues like an app are available because people want that, and make sure that the call quality is good. Actually, if I have to compare the call quality of one and the other, I have to probably say that the call quality here on the E200 is perhaps just slightly better even than the 350T, and considering that one costs almost 3 times the price of the other, I don't know if that is really a good thing for the 350T Pro. It's again a little bit slightly negative aspect of it. And that's it, guys. I mean, once again, like I said previously, and I mentioned in my review for the Moondrop space travel, I want to focus on those things that for me are important when I'm talking about a TWS, which is having a good sound, which they've ticked both of them that box and then ticked it very solidly, and then an app for me is important, and not having an app is something that left me a little bit disappointed. And then also the call quality. I'm not expecting magic, but to be decent. And here they both barely make the decent. That's the truth. All right. Anyway, guys, as always, like and subscribe. Any questions you might have, please feel free to ask me, and I'll do my best to answer as quickly as possible. Okay. You take care now. Bye bye.